Hello everyone and welcome to 678 Live. We're so excited to have you here on Mother's Day this week. Now before you do anything, if you haven't said Happy Mother's Day to your mom and done something nice for her, go do that now. But next, here are the rules for this week. As always, go crazy in the chat until we start teaching, but as soon as the teaching starts, stop chatting or Devin will yell at you.
We just want to take a moment right now and say Happy Mother's Day to all the 678 moms out there. Thank you for the ways that you support our ministry, whether that's driving your kids and their friends to 678, or hosting an all-small group night at your house, or tuning in live now. You're making Jesus a priority for your family, and that's so awesome, and we are so thankful for you. So happy Mother's Day. We also want to say Happy Mother's Day to our 678 leaders who are also moms. You guys are incredible. We love the way you love your families, and also we love the ways that you love and mother your 678 kids. So we have a little something special for you, and we think that you're going to love this. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Thank you for loving and supporting each and every one of us, me, Aubrey, and Brooks. We would not be the Funnies without you. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for always being there for us and kind and supporting us in everything that we do. And just thank you for being an amazing mom, and I wish you the best Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thanks for always being here for us.
We love you.
Happy Mother's Day. One reason I love my mom is because she's always happy and positive.
One reason I love my mom is because she always takes care of me and makes the dinners for all of us.
Happy Mother's Day. Mom is awesome because she's always helping me with my homework and making dinner, and she's always working hard.
Happy Mother's Day. We love our mom because she's caring.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you. Thank you so much for being a role model in my life.
Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate that you're always going to be there for me no matter what happens and what mistakes that I make.
Hey, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. Love you.
Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day from Gabe and I. On Mother's Day, we usually say what we're thankful for, and I just feel like it's so hard to think of words to describe how thankful I am for you. You've just always been someone that I can cry to and talk to about anything, and I just really appreciate that about you, that you're always willing to listen and give really good advice. Yeah, I just love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. I hope you have a great day. This day's for you.
I love Mommy because she takes care of me, because she also makes lunch sometimes. I'm happy about Mom. I love Mommy because she got me a new book.
I love Mommy because she takes care of me and how she loves me, and how even when we take her for granted kind of, and leave the messes, she still loves us all through it.
What I love about my mom is that she is so caring and giving to everyone. And one example of this is when we were at Urban Hope and she gave away basically half her stuff she brought just to people in need because she was so giving.
Something I love about my mom is how generous she is to everyone in her life.
And what I like about my mom is that she helps around the house when we don't do it, and she makes us good cookies, and without her we couldn't function in the family.
I like my mom because she's nice, kind, and she helps me with my work.
And I love her very much.
Happy Mother's Day. We love you, Mom.
We love you because you are always faithful, caring, and a role model to us.
We also love you because you're always there and support us.
What I love about my mom is she is supportive. What I love about my mom is how much she cares and loves for the dogs.
What I love about my mom is how much she cares for me and loves me.
I love Mommy because she takes care of me.
I love that she's really kind and that she helps our family a ton.
I love her because she helps our family and talks nicely and gives us kisses when we go to bed. I like her and I love her.
I love that Mom is always so sweet and she tries to do everything
the best she can for us so we can have a good life.
Happy Mother's Day! Thank you for teaching us.
Always being there for us.
And being the best mom ever.
We love you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Why do you love Mom, Maggie?
It says I love Mommy so much.
Jessa, why do you love Mommy?
Oh, Mom, we love you so much, as Maggie said so many times. We love you so much. Thank you for just always being here for us and supporting us in whatever kind of activities we want to do. And just thank you for just keeping your cool during this time and being patient with us. We love you so much. Happy Mother's Day.
We love Mom.
Mother's Day because she is the best. She helps us through quarantine. She does the chores around the house. She helps us do the homework. She takes care of Jessa. She takes care of little kids. She does the food. She is an amazing role model, and she is the best.
Happy Mother's Day. Our mom is Erica. She's a 8th grade girls group leader, and she's really great. She does a lot of stuff for us. She's just really amazing. And she cooks for us, and she helps me with my problems and teaches me how to cook things, and she's just really great. So happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We love you.
We love you. And the reason I love you so much is you're super fun and you make really, really yummy food.
And you take really good pictures and take care of us, and we love you lots. Mwah.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you so much. And one reason I love you is because you're so funny.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you every day. And one of the reasons I love you is because you love me every day a lot.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Love you. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Hope you have a great day.
I love my mom for many reasons, but if I had to choose one for this video, I would probably have to say the way that she leads people and the way that she serves people, not just in 678, but out of 678 as well. The way that she leads and serves my family is just so inspiring.
Happy Mother's Day! Happy Mother's Day! I love you because you always care for me. I love you because you just do the most amazing things.
I love you because you make my team all of day.
I love how independent and persistent our mom is.
And I love how kind and determined she is. Well, she's a great person.
Yeah, she feeds us so we don't starve.
And she loves us.
I love Mommy because she lets me get us books. I love Mom because she reads us books.
Ruby, say I love Mommy.
I love Mommy.
Yeah, and I love Mommy because she gave me all of these guys, and we wouldn't want to do quarantine with anybody else. Say Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. There are so many things that I love about you, but if I had to pick just one, I would say I love your commitment and your desire to help literally everyone around you. You're awesome. You're the best mom ever. Happy Mother's Day.
Alright guys, now it's time to play a game. We're going to have some pictures of our moms on the screen, and we're going to see if you can tell whose mom is whose. Let's see what you got.
Ryder, to get your Timbits today, you have to open one of those up. Go ahead and open it up.
Oh, jeez.
I want you to grab one, and I want you to throw it in the air and try to catch it in your mouth. Oh, that's disgusting. All right, Libby, to get your Timbits, you must throw one of those Timbits up in the air and catch it in your mouth. Go for it. Timbit down. All right, I'll give you it. All right, Megan, for your Timbits, you have to do the chicken dance. Are you ready? Sure. Go for it. Perfect. All right, Riley, for your challenge, you have to take one of those Timbits, throw it up in the air, and catch it in your mouth. Are you ready?
All right.
All right, go. Oh, he got it. All right, Hayden, for your challenge, I need you to go give the nearest tree a hug.
Tree.
Hayden loves the earth. Boom. Thanks, Hayden. You have earned your Timbits. All right, Blaine, for your challenge, you need to yell your favorite movie at the top of your lungs. Ready, go.
My favorite movie is Moana!
All right, do the Patrick Star laugh.
Not really like that.
Daniela, your challenge is you have to say that Coraline is the worst movie of all time.
It's not.
You have to.
Coraline is the worst movie of all time.
Thank you so much. All right, Ella, for these Timbits, you have to give us your best British accent.
Those tulips over there look very pretty. I would love to go smell them, but I don't think that my neighbors would be very happy with that. I also love the book Matilda, but I don't really have time to read it right now. Now I'm going to take these Timbits. Is that okay?
That is absolutely okay. For your challenge to get those Timbits, I need you to give me your best burp. Incredible. Thanks, man. All right. Emmy and Harper, your challenge to get these Timbits is I need you to give each other a hug. Oh, there it is.
Hey 678ers, welcome back to the last week of this In My Opinion series. And before we get into what we're going to talk about today, it's Mother's Day. I hope you know that. I hope that you've already said Happy Mother's Day to your mom. I hope you've already done something very nice and kind. If you haven't already, stop right now. Tell your mom that you love her and tell her Happy Mother's Day. But this is, like I said, the last week of this In My Opinion series. And if you've been with us a little bit, at least for the last couple weeks, and you know that we've said that we kind of look for opportunities to share our opinion. And sometimes when we find those opportunities, the way that we share our opinion is through gossiping. And then we talked last week about we have really strong opinions about some things maybe that our friends should or shouldn't be doing, and that we have to find the balance of speaking up and standing up to our friends, but doing so with love and with kindness. And we're going to get to what we're going to talk about today. But before we do that, I want to ask you a question about school. Now, it might take you a minute to really remember what school was because it's been a minute since you've had to have been there. But remember the place that you used to go to with a bunch of other kids and you'd learn things? Maybe you'd ride a bus to get there. I remember when I was going to school, I went to a different school for elementary school, and then I went to a different school for about 7th grade, and then I remember going to a different school for high school. And I can remember no matter what school I went to, there was kind of one thing that I could bank on being at the school, and it was cliques. Now, when I say cliques, here's what I mean. It was groups of people who would hang out with other people who were like them, who were into the same thing or interested in the same stuff. Truthfully, I don't know if there's any school that doesn't have those cliques. And maybe as you think about your school and the groups of friends that you hang out with, you would kind of see the different groupings of people naturally. You'd say, oh, these are the kids that all played this sport, and they would hang out together. And these are the kids who were all in bands together. And these were the really smart kids. And these were the really athletic kids. And these were the kids that were really into this specific thing. And those kind of become cliques. And here's what I know is true. When we find ourselves in a clique, we start to have opinions of people in other cliques. Now, as I was growing up, I was always really into soccer. And so I always kind of connected with people who were also really into soccer and kind of pretty athletic people. And I always like to be stupid and to be funny. And so my clique, my group was the people who were kind of funny and stupid and played sports. And those were the people that I hung out with. And then I can remember my freshman year of high school going to a brand new school where I didn't know anyone. I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to get to know the like funny, stupid people who play soccer. And that's going to be my crowd, my clique. And I remember the first day at lunch sitting with the boys from my class. And this was a very small school. And when I say very small, I don't think you understand how small it was. In my grade, there were 4 people. Some of you might be homeschooled with more people in your class or in your home than were in my grade. But that's how it worked out. There was 4 people who graduated high school with me in my grade. So our classes were small. And I remember sitting at a lunchroom table and I had some guys from my grade and a couple other grades. And I thought, well, this is the time to kind of figure out where I fit. They spent the whole time talking about Star Trek and Star Wars and photon lasers versus photon cannons. I didn't fit. And here's what I remember thinking, oh my gosh, no, I'm with the really smart kids and I don't fit with the really smart kids because the really smart kids are going to think I'm stupid and the really smart kids aren't going to be fun and the really smart kids aren't funny and the really smart kids aren't cool. And then I remember spending more time with them, eating more lunches with them, hanging out with them outside of school, and I realized something. I had built an opinion about these people based on the clique that they were in, and my opinion was totally wrong. The truth is, all of us have opinions about other people. It's actually really easy for us to see a group that a person might connect with and to make a snap judgment about them. And then what we think to be true of them becomes our opinion of them. I can remember growing up, there was a show that I used to love watching, but I only really wanted to watch the first 10 episodes, and it was American Idol. I know it's still a show now, and I've tried watching it now, but the reason I don't like American Idol now is that now I feel like when I watch it, everyone who comes out and sings and auditions is really good, and they all go to Hollywood. But when I was growing up, that wasn't the case. In fact, if you want to spend some fun time laughing, why don't you just YouTube worst American Idol auditions ever? Because it used to be when I was growing up and the show was newer that you had no idea who was going to step out and start singing. And a person would come out and they would say their name and they would explain the song they were going to sing. And as they were doing that, you and the people watching would be like, oh, this is going to be hilarious. Or, oh my gosh, they're going to be so bad. Or you would do the opposite and you would just see them or you would hear them talk and you would say, they're going to be so good. Oh, they're going to go to Hollywood for sure. And then it was fun to watch and see either them sing very well and make it, or it'd be really funny to watch them not sing well at all, and then the judges would laugh or say something rude, and they would leave. But the truth is, the reason I really liked watching that show was because I loved making those judgment calls of seeing those people, hearing them say their name and the things they were interested in, and then within a minute, I had already decided if I thought they were going to be a good singer or a bad singer. And you might look at me and be like, well, how could you actually do that? No way you really knew that person enough to make that decision. The truth is, guys, I think we do it all the time. I think maybe even you do that sometimes. I think sometimes you interact with a person and you go, oh, their family's rich, they have money, that must mean that they act like fill in the blank. Or you go, oh, those are one of the athletic kids, so that means they're going to be like this. Or these are the really smart kids, or these are the kids that are in plays, or this is the kid that's in the band. And the truth is, as I say all of those things, you might already have opinions of those types of people based on the groups that I mentioned. And if we're being honest, it doesn't just happen at school. I think it happens at church sometimes too, maybe even in your 678 group. Maybe you think, man, those kids who have been going to church forever, ever since they were like a baby, they are like this. Or maybe you go, man, the kids who come to group from that school, they're always like this. Or maybe you think, man, the older kids or the younger kids, they always act like fill in the blank. The truth is, I think we do this all of the time. And I think there's a few different reasons for why we have the opinions that we have about certain groups of people. And the tricky part is that our opinions and our assumptions about other people come from a bunch of different places. Maybe you have an opinion about an entire group of people based on one bad experience you had with one person from that group. Maybe you have an opinion about someone just because you assume what you've heard about other people is true. And to be honest, you actually don't even really know anyone or have really had any experience with anyone from that group or that clique. Maybe if we're being honest, we feel a certain way about a group of people because we're actually jealous or insecure. And there's something about that group that we wish we were like, and because we're not, we view them in a negative way. Whatever the reason is, when it comes to people who are different than us, we can let our opinions of them affect the way that we view them. And that's not a good thing, because for most of us, our opinions and our assumptions about a group of people are more negative than they are positive. And it'll affect the way that we think about them today. It might even affect the way that we would interact with them tomorrow. When we view someone else solely based on an assumption, solely based out of our own jealousies or our own insecurities, solely based out of one interaction we've had with one person, then we aren't seeing the whole story. And when we don't see the whole story about a person, we aren't seeing the whole person. Now, there's a story in the Bible that I think speaks directly to this, and it's written by one of Jesus's closest friends. It was written by a guy named John, and the book is called John. John spent time living life with Jesus, recording the things that Jesus did and writing down the things that Jesus said. And we can actually read John's account in the Bible, in the book of John. We can see what life with Jesus kind of looked like. We can see the things Jesus said, and we can see the things Jesus did. And John records one interaction that Jesus had that I want us to read today. So go ahead and open up your Bibles to John chapter 8. We're going to start reading in verse 4, and we're going to read a few verses, but before we get there, Jesus is speaking to a group of people, and as he's speaking, a group of religious leaders interrupt him with this situation that we're about to read. So let's get our Bibles out. John chapter 8, let's start reading in verse 4. It says this: "Teacher," they said to Jesus, "this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say?" So basically, these religious leaders kind of ambush Jesus in the middle of his teaching, and they say, what should we do with this woman that we caught sleeping with someone who wasn't her husband? Those religious leaders knew what the law said should happen to a person that got caught doing that they should be stoned. And here's what that means. It means that pretty much the town of people should surround that one person and should throw rocks and heavy stones at them until they died. See, these religious leaders were actually trying to trap Jesus. They knew what the law said they should do. And so they brought this woman before Jesus, and they wanted to see Jesus kind of publicly condemn this woman. Now, before we go on, and before we start to build our own bad opinions of these religious leaders, I think that they're doing something that all of us do. They think they're better than this woman, and we do the same thing. I mean, we tend to think of ourselves very differently than the way we think of other people. We let our opinions and our assumptions define who other people are, and we slowly move away. That's exactly what these religious leaders are doing. And I'm sure that's what they thought Jesus would do too. But let's see Jesus' response. The religious leaders kept demanding an answer. So he stood up again and said, "All right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." Then he stooped down again and he wrote in the dust. See, Jesus, before he said anything about this woman, stopped for a minute and he said, you need to look on the inside at your own sin before you worry about what's going on in her life. He said, the one standing here who has never sinned, who has never messed up, let them line up right front and center to throw the first stone. Truth is, no one got in that first spot. Why? No one could. I mean, the only person in that entire place that could have actually stepped into that spot was Jesus, being the only person who never sinned. In fact, after Jesus said that, those people slowly started to trickle away until it was just Jesus and that woman standing there. And then here's what happened. Then Jesus stood up again and said to the woman, "Where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you?" "No, Lord," she said. And Jesus said, "Neither do I. Go and sin no more." While these religious leaders were trying to judge this woman based on only one thing that they knew about her, Jesus saw something different. Jesus saw this woman as so much more than one bad decision. She was so much more than just an opinion or an assumption or a bad experience. Jesus knew the whole story. He loved her no matter what. I think this story is really cool because nobody in this story is really who you think they are. The story starts off with all of these good people judging this woman as bad, but then Jesus showed that she was worthy of forgiveness. And I think at the beginning you think all these religious leaders are good, but then Jesus showed that they're actually no better than this woman. The truth is, all of us mess up, all of us make mistakes, all of us have our issues, but all of us are made in the image of God. That alone makes us worthy of His love and His forgiveness. That's the way that Jesus calls us to view other people. Jesus wants us to know that there's more to other people than just our opinion of them. I can remember growing up and being in the church that I was at when I was growing up, and there was always one kid who was in children's ministry with me, and then he moved to student ministry with me, but he was 1 year older than me, and his name was Sam. And I remember I didn't go to the same school as Sam, and like I said, he was a year older than me, so we didn't ever spend that much time with each other, but I remember people just made fun of Sam. People just didn't like Sam. And I remember falling into that same assumption. And when I got to be in about 7th grade, I was gonna have a birthday party, and my mom said I could have someone spend the night, and I remember my mom really pressuring me to invite Sam to spend the night. And I remember thinking, no way. Like, if I'm going to have one person come and spend the night, I'm going to pick one of my friends. I'm definitely not going to pick Sam. I don't think I was even going to let Sam come to the party. My mom said, come on, Rothen, just let him come to this one thing. Let him be the one that gets invited this one time. And I said yes. And I remember I picked Sam up, and we went to the store, and we got some snacks, and we came home, and I got an electric scooter because that was a thing that a bunch of kids had when I was in 7th grade. And I can remember eating the snacks and riding the scooter around my neighborhood and watching movies and just hanging out with Sam and actually genuinely having a good time. And realizing, like, Sam wasn't this weird, awkward, uncool kid. Sam was just like me, and he was just like my friends. And I mean, I can remember when we were dropping him off at home kind of the next morning after he had spent the night, and he, before I get out of the car, just said, thank you so much, Rothen, for inviting me. It was the first time anyone invited me to spend the night at their house. Gosh, I remember feeling crushed. And I remember feeling guilty because I knew the only reason I even invited him to begin with was because my mom made me. And I thought to myself, I'm so upset that I've believed this lie and this assumption, and I've built this opinion for this person that wasn't even true. And I remember being so sad that all these other people had this wrong opinion for Sam. So I want you to remember, there's more to other people than just your opinions of them. To help us remember this, I want to encourage you to do 2 things. The first thing is the thing that I think Jesus was reminding those religious leaders in those verses that we read. And it's to do this. You need to worry about yourself. Instead of focusing on somebody else's actions or behaviors or responses or choices or anything else that somebody else does, worry about yourself. Worry about how you can respond to them with love. Worry about how you can show them that they have value as being made in the image of God. Instead of focusing on the choices that they're making that you don't understand, focus on what you're doing and how you can better live out the life that God has for you. And the second thing, remove the judgment. We have all these judgments about people that we think we know, but if we're honest, we don't really know at all. Instead of letting those judgments about them impact your view and your opinion of them, let what's true about them influence those things. And what we know to be true of them is that they are made in God's image. They do deserve God's love. If you approach them that way, you will treat other people the way that Jesus did. So remember, there's more to other people than just your opinion of them. Since it's Mother's Day, I know a lot of groups aren't meeting, but that doesn't mean that you can't process your thoughts about the teaching today. In fact, we have a family guide that your parents can get, and you guys can walk through together through the church website. But I want you to kind of spend some time tonight thinking about this question. What's one way I form opinions about people who are different than me? Think about that. Thanks so much for tuning in and for hanging out with 678 Live. Stay connected to your group. Stay connected to 678. We'll see you guys next week.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you so much. And one reason I love you is because you're so funny.